Hey guys, it's time to move on to some interesting stuff in the programming world now. Finally. Okay, but if you're a complete newbie to programming, I recommend you to watch the previous videos in the playlist, the link to which is given in the description box below. Let's get going. So in this video, we'll be looking at if statements. Now, the if statements are a part of conditional statements. Conditional statements, as the name suggests, performs different actions or computations depending on whether some of the given conditions are true or false. Let's see an example. Okay, so this block says, if I'm hungry, give me food. So that means there's a condition that if I'm hungry, so if hungry is true, then give me food. Else if I'm thirsty, give me water. So either I'm hungry or I'm thirsty, and depending on whether I'm hungry or I'm thirsty, do something. For example, if I'm hungry, give me food, and if I'm thirsty, give me water. And then there's a third block that says else, let me sleep. Okay, that's rude. But anyways, if I'm not hungry or if I'm not thirsty, so both of those statements or conditions are false, then the else block will execute automatically. So just let me sleep if I'm not hungry or if I'm not thirsty. So depending on which of the conditions is true, the consequent action will be performed. And that's all there is really to it. We'll see how to write the same example in code. Now that we're in the Jupyter Notebook, let's try to see the same example that we saw. So I'm just going to create a variable saying is hungry is equal to true. That should be capital T. There you go. And then if is hungry is equal to true, print give me food. Let's try running that just to see what happens. As you can see, it says give me food, or it prints that to the screen because this condition over here is true. And keep in mind that we use two is equal to signs because we want to check a condition. And over here, we just use one equal to sign because we assign the value of true to the is hungry variable. Let's try to add the elif block now. So let's say is hungry, or let's just copy paste. Let's add another variable, is thirsty, is equal to true. And let's make is hungry false. I'm going to say elif is thirsty is equal to true. Print give me water. Notice the indentations that I've used because Python is very careful about these indentations, and that's how the language actually works. If you get any indentation wrong, you're most likely to get an error. Let's see what this prints. This prints out give me water because, okay, so first the compiler checks if this condition is true, which in our condition, it's false because we've assigned the value of false to is hungry. So this condition becomes false, and the block gets exited, goes on to the elif to check if the second condition is true, which is thirsty is equal to true, which is true in our case, and that's why it prints out this statement. Let's try to add the last else block to our code. else, print let me sleep. Let's make this value false. What do you think will happen? Take a moment to think about it. It prints let me sleep. Since both our conditions are false, that is, the condition in the if block is false and the condition in the elif block is also false, the compiler will automatically execute the statement in the else block. And hence, it prints out let me sleep to the screen. Let's see another example. Let's say num is equal to int input. Enter a number. Okay, now this thing might be new to you over here, but it's just a way of getting an input from the user. So what I'm basically saying here is that I want an integer to be inputted from the user, and I want the user to see this message when he inputs the number, or when he inputs whatever he wants to input. Okay, let's introduce our if block. If num is less than 10, colon, print number is less than 10. Elif, not, or let's just say else, colon, remember to give the colon after every condition, print number is greater than or equal to 10. Let's see what that prints out. First of all, it'll ask me to enter a number. So let's say I enter 7. And as you can see, it prints out number is less than 10, because obviously 7 is less than 10. Let's add a twist to that. Let's say if num is less than 10, and then let's add another condition to the same if block saying the num is less than 5. Print the number is less than 5. Else, print number is greater than or equal to 5. And let's see what this will execute. Let's see what this will give us. Enter a number, let's say 4. As you can see, it says number is less than 5. What we did just here was just a nested if statement. So basically, an if statement inside of an if statement is a nested if statement. So first, it checks if num is less than 10, which it is. Then it goes inside the if block, inside the second if block, to check if the number is less than 5, which it is. And therefore, it prints out this statement out here, and it ignores the rest of the program altogether. Let's try entering a number greater than 5. Let's say 7. And correctly, it enters numbers greater than or equal to 5. What it just did here was it checked if the number was less than 10, which was true, so it went inside the second if block, checked if the number was less than 5, which was false, so it went on to the else statement and printed out this part of the code and chose to ignore the outside else statement. Now let's try the same program with a number which is greater than 10. Let's say 13. And as you can see, it correctly prints out numbers greater than or equal to 10. Now, same thing here. It checks if the num is less than 10, which is false. So it doesn't even bother to go inside of the if block. And it skips directly to the else block and prints this statement out, which is numbers greater than or equal to 10. So this was all about if statements in Python. And you can try a lot of things using the if statement. Do try them. And thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.